Hey guys, welcome back. In this lesson, I want to go over creating details and annotation references. Now, this is really important in Revit, and in the building industry as a whole, because you need to know how to do details in Revit, how to create sections. You need to know how to actually construct that stuff, whether it be millwork or even just the building envelope. So for this case, I've added a cabinet. Now, you can get a cabinet from RevitCity.com or Autodesk Seek under the Insert tab. Just type in cabinets, and you can download a cabinet and import it directly into your model. Now, in this case, what I want to do is make a detail directly through that cabinet. So I'll make a section. I can either use the Quick Access toolbar, or I can go to the View tab and select Section, whichever one you prefer. And then I will make the section directly through the cabinet and facing to the west. Okay, so now if I actually double click on this section, you will see that our actual model will appear. So you'll see that this is very generic information and it's actually a bit big. But if we go in and change the detail level to 1.5 inches to a foot, then you can actually get that detail in. Now this was just a general section, so we're going to cut it down to just the cabinet. Now that we have this more focused in area, we can start adding details. You can add studs or dimensions or whatever you need. So under Annotate, you have your dimensions category, you have your regions, you have components if you want to put in studs. So when I click on that, you'll see that all I have right now are wide flanges. But we can always go into Load Family and add in some studs. And once you're in the Load Family screen, let me think which folder this would be under. Let's try Annotations. Then we'll go under Architectural. No, that doesn't seem like it was right. Let me look here. Detail Items. Then we'll go to Wood and Plastic. We can then go to Wood Framing. And then we will go with Nominal Cut Lumber. And now you can select your lumber sizes. You have a bunch of different options, but I'm going to go with 2x4. And now you can start putting in your studs. You can place them anywhere you want. You can start doing all of your detailing, adding dimensions, whatever you need. You can also go in and add detail lines. One way is to go to the Annotate tab and click on Detail Lines. And there you'll be given a variety of line styles to choose from. You may have already created some for your firm. So you can just trace out your detail lines however you want. And that's something that's going to depend upon the needs of your project, what your firm requires. So this is just a demonstration of how to do it. So these are not hard and fast rules for exactly how you have to detail things. I'm just showing you how to draw out lines, much like in AutoCAD. So I'm just showing you the general format. Is this correct? Probably not, but you can do it this way. So I'll go ahead and delete some of those, and if you don't want to do it this way, you can always throw in your annotations for labeling things. So I'll select text, and I will call out this stud. I'll actually go ahead here and call this, let's say, wood framing. And remember, you can always change the properties of your text. I'll change the font size here to 332. Make it a little more detail-oriented, and you can always then just add in the annotations you need. Now the problem with doing details in this way is that you have to recreate them almost every time. Now this can become very time-consuming for you and for a firm, because even though they exist somewhere, you still have to go back in and keep adding them to different views. Not to mention the risk of forgetting something. Most of the time we like to reference them. Let me finish this one up first. I'll call this countertop. So yeah, this is one way of doing details and annotations. You can create a section, make all the detailing and the annotations that you need, and then we can take our section 2 that we've made the annotations to and throw them onto our sheet. And then once you have put it on your sheet, if you go back into your floor plan, that sheet will be referenced in the section marker itself. But a problem will arise with doing details and annotations like this, because if I move this section around and then go back into my sheet, then you'll see that my detail lines in particular are all inaccurate. So the change to that one section has made changes throughout. So this is good if you're doing a building section, meaning a section through the entire building envelope and you want to include a lot of detail. But for stuff like millwork, door transitions, wall transitions, windows, all sorts of details that you might have for your company that are traditional, like this cabinet millwork, then there's other ways of doing it. So in this case, what we can do for our details is go up to the Insert tab. And once we are in the Insert tab, we will go to Insert from File. And if I select Insert Views from File, and then go to the desktop where I have my file saved, you'll see I have a millwork detail file. So this is just a regular Revit file, and it's actually just filled with a drafting view. Now, if you create drafting views for each of your files, for instance, you might have a millwork drafting view, you might have ceiling details, window details, door details, whatever different transitions your project might have. So when you open that up, you can actually select a drafting view. It's all very generic, but I'm going to import this in, and there you go. Now, what's really great about this is that it's completely independent. Because it's a drafting view, it does not have a direct reference to our model. And so what's good about this is you can now make edits to your model, and it won't affect your detail. So in this case, if we go back to the floor plan, let's say that I actually want to reference that detail. So I'll take that drafting view and I'll put it on this sheet. So it's there on the sheet. You can see it's detail 6. And I'm going to change the name of this to base cabinet. Alright, so now that we have this detail in our sheet, if we go back up to our floor plan, and what we'll do is we'll actually go back into our section marker, but instead of creating a new section marker, we'll click on this button that says Reference Other View. And if you click that drop menu, you can actually choose our drafting view that we've named Base Cabinet. So I'll go ahead and draw my section and orientate it in the right direction, and you will see that it's already referenced. And because it's already referenced, that means that if we go into that section view, it'll automatically pull up the referenced drafting view. And now we can also move that section, and it won't alter the drafting view. So when it comes to details, if you're actually working in a company, what you're going to want to do is essentially you want to create one Revit file, and that file will contain all different drafting views. Now with these drafting views, you might actually have several Revit files. So you might have one drafting file for millwork, one for ceilings, all different details. And with all of these different drafting files, all you have to do is go to Insert, Insert from File, select Insert Views from File, and select the file that you want, just like I did with my millwork file on the desktop. So this is a really great way to cut down on the amount of busy work that you have. You aren't going to have to draw every single detail all over on a new project. What you wind up doing is creating this detailing library. And that's really the better way to do details and annotations. Create this library and then reference them. Alright, that is our lesson on details and annotations. We'll see you in the next tutorial.